Yes, sir. It's the Print Factory Show. We're back again on a Wednesday. We got Big T in the house. We got ODB ready to pick some winners for the people here. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not subscribed to the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel, as we got free shows throughout the day. 4:45 Eastern Time will be the NBA Hardwood Show. That is free on this YouTube channel. So if you like NBA winners, obviously we like NFL winners, but if you like NBA winners as well, stay tuned for that show at 4:45. Also, you can use the code NBA15 if you want 15% off your first month's payment over at Run Pure Sports. Use that code NBA15. Get in on all the action and all the winners. With that, I'm going to bring in my two co-hosts here. I got to start with the man, ODB at the top here. Number one ranked, what does that say? Number one mixed game player and picker of winners. Is that you or Big T?
All I know is when we went live, I saw Big T with a big pen in his mouth. I thought it was a cigar. Yeah, he gave us the back the Brinks truck up. He got us off of Jacksonville and onto the Niners, and that is what that's my. I mean, besides the fact that I just love you guys and enjoy talking sports, my favorite thing about this show is like I actually listen, and sometimes I disagree, but sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that just makes sense. And I just blindly went. I always like this Jacksonville team just in general. I think they're underrated. And I was like, just kind of a lazy take. I was like, yeah, I'll just take Jacksonville points at home. And then Big T was like, back the Brinks truck up. I know this Niners team. This is an absolute smash spot. I listened to everything he said, and I was like, you know what? Dude's right. And got on the Niners, got off the Jags. And, yeah, thanks for that, Big T.
That was a rocking chair one for us, too. We don't get many rocking chair wins. There you go. In the chair even, you got the rock going. I like that.
I'm going to do that every time we pick winners on this show. I'm going to rock.
Rock,
Give one, like what do you think? One rock for every winner?
That's a good bit.
I got to do one rock for every winner. Do you know how many units Tony won over the weekend on the site?
We're not going to start stroking my winners.
He literally won like 48 units on the site. On Sunday, ODB.
Pick some winners. ODB taught me how to pick winners. He's a picker of winners.
We go on the show on Monday, ODB, and he almost forgets to talk about it. That's the funniest thing. He almost forgot to talk about how he just hit every single bet on Sunday pretty much. I mean, he ran pure as fuck, but you got to win 48 units.
Yeah, I'll talk about that because I ran so freaking pure Sunday night.
While you do that, I'm going to mute myself, half listen while I rock.
So I had who was it? Who was the Sunday game? The Raiders, and who was the other shitty team? Jets. So yeah, I had the unders, I had the Raiders, I had basically all the winners. If the Jets would have scored, I would have lost like all my bets. Instead, they didn't at the end, and we just won every bet. And we had the Mayer first touchdown, 28-1. It was a fun night for the Run Pure members. I got a bunch of messages saying thanks for the picks and the winner. It's always, for whatever reason, the winners give me more satisfaction than DFS, probably because DFS I've just done it like longer and I'm used to it. But when we pick winners on this show, like ODB said, and we give good info, I just feel better about it. Like I feel good about picking winners like that. So it's fun.
Yeah, I was a little concerned coming on the show today. I looked at the slate. And I mean, I've been looking at the slate for days, but just kind of like really like, okay, what do I want to talk about this show? And I looked and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with some of these games. And I was like, you know what? That just more emphasizes why I like doing the show, because we talk it through and we'll come to some good opinions on it. Also, thanks for the nice words in the comments. I can't chat back on this YouTube thing, so I'm not old man. I don't even know how that show works. So.
All you gotta do is click the comments in the top right and type at the bottom.
No, I can't. It says join the chat, and I have to be on something, and I don't know. Thanks, Mitch and Terry and everybody else who's watching.
Doesn't say number one computer worker in the world under your name.
No, look, it took me fucking 6 weeks to get on Discord, and then like I was on it for 2 days, and I haven't been back since.
All right, well, we'll figure out the comments thing eventually.
Question is, he says, "Can I ask a quick?" Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's what we're here for, Bryce.
What's the question?
Man,
We don't have to wait for it.
Let's start the games and we'll get to Bryce's question. Why don't you just watch the show? Bryce will probably answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, maybe he's got like a season-long question. We don't get him a lot on this show, but maybe he's got like a season-long question.
He can ask it as it comes. He's probably going to ask season-long. Would you trade Justin Jefferson for T. Higgins? Anyway, Hey, before we get started, I need Big T's take on this Thursday night game, because I look at this and I always want to like the Bengals and I always want to fade the Ravens. And man, I don't know, but that game on Sunday, I know it was a trappy spot. I know they didn't have Higgins and everything just kind of went wrong, but man, that game just concerned me about the Bengals. They did not look good at all. The score and the ending was not indicative. They were never in. They got bailed out to even be close by Stroud throwing that horrible pass. And I don't know, man. I always want to lean Bengals, but fuck, I don't know, man. I'm kind of feeling the Ravens a little bit, and I don't want to. I want to like the Bengals. So Big T has his finger on the pulse of the Bengals. So I need to take on this game, please.
I just, in general, always don't. People have probably picked up on this too since we've done the shows. Whenever they're like a favorite, like last week, I never like them as much. Whenever they're a dog like this week, I always like them more. I don't have a ton of conviction because T's out, Hubbard's out, like Uncle T says in the chat. Hendrickson even got banged up the last game. He's going to play, but he's banged up. I don't know. Like, it's a tricky spot again for the Bengals. I like the Bengals, though. If you're ever giving me 3.5 with the Bengals, I don't really care who they play. I'm taking them. Definitely not a back-the-truck-up game, though. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a 3-point game either way, really.
JSU, you gotta take on this game. I don't want to go big into it. I know Thursday you'll have your shows and stuff. But.
Yeah. So obviously, guys, if you want like the hour-long show, and we'll give all our takes. We've got shows tomorrow, 11 Eastern, and then me, Big T, maybe Wiley will be on at 4:45 Eastern to give our full takes on the show. But yeah, I'm kind of with Tony right now as I look at it. I haven't, dove deep into that game specifically because I know I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. So, but I kind of am with Tony as of now. So, no.
I always want to lean that way. So, it's. Normally I would just look at this game and then just be slam dunk. Bengals. I don't even need to think about it. I've gone against the Ravens several times. I think the Bengals have pretty good history versus Lamar, right? I don't know. They beat them in the playoffs, but it wasn't Lamar.
The Ravens have good history of playing the Bengals close, don't they?
This division always plays each other tough.
I think
it's just
even without Lamar, they played the Bengals tough.
Yeah, in the playoff game
last year. So
those are like trickier spots to me, though. Again, it kind of goes to where the Bengals, I'd rather play them with Lamar and just be up for it, ready to go. I know that sounds like just idiotic, but those spots with the backup in there that's going to run, it's just tricky. It's a tricky spot. And with Lamar, you know what you're getting. Lamar still I like it.
Yeah, but you would think it's the same because Lamar's going to run too.
I know, it's just the defense lets up just a little bit, and he's going to throw. I don't know. Obviously, it's a stupid take. Obviously, they're worse without Lamar, but it's just a tricky spot.
Honestly, I remember having that take until the playoff game when I watched it again, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just wrong because I had the take for the playoff game, and then I was like,
some of the trends are pretty crazy with the Bengals too. Burrow's 0-5 in night games and on the road, and 5-0 at home. So not a huge sample, but somewhat interesting that he's worse on the road. But you gotta like the Bengals. This is a season game for the Bengals too. The Ravens are 7-3. They're 5-4. The Steelers suck. The Browns lost their quarterback. If the Bengals win this game, they're back in the race to get the division. It's a huge game for the Bengals, obviously.
I'm sure every questionable call's got to go the Bengals' way, right? They need Burrow in these playoffs. There's not many good quarterbacks left.
I think he'll rise up. I like the Bengals the more I think about it.
Okay.
I want Mitch money. Give me some money, Mitch. I see you in there. You fucking jerk your little cock off to the Ravens. Give me some money.
trying to take Snyder's money. We were just complimenting. ODB was complimenting
We're
Snyder.
enemies tomorrow. Nice me and Mitch are enemies tomorrow.
I like Snyder. Snyder, he likes a lot of my tweets and shit. He's
Snyder loves ODB.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
He did bet against you, though. Who did he bet against? I had ODB. I got action on you. Snyder, who'd you bet against ODB? One of these poker pros, I forget. He was in Colorado when you were in there is the funny thing. Who was at that the final 10? A big pro was with you at that table. This will be a good
that table where I got completely fucked when I got it in with Queens versus Queen Jack on a Jack high board for 40% of the chips in play, 6 left for 250,000 up top. Yeah, I hardly remember it.
Who was the dude though?
I know who the tourney director was. His name was fucking Big T. Yes, that's where I met you.
His name was Big fucking T.
What was his name, though? This is a trivia for ODB. There's a big-time pro there.
How long ago was this?
Like 10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
Do you remember the exact hand?
Yeah.
Queens, it was a big tournament.
This lady had Queen Jack, and the flop game like Jack 4 deuce or some bullshit. And yeah, then she got it all in. Yeah, I was thinking it was chance. Either
God, you freaking wrote it, Mitch. I was trying to get him to do the trivia.
No, I was going to say either Chance or Joe Kuther because they were both there. Those are the two pros that I remember there at the time.
Those tournaments in Colorado were low key, like really, really good for the people.
It was at the casino we went that time, Tony.
It was at one. I don't remember. It wasn't at the
Golden Gate,
but up there, yeah.
Yeah, Golden Gate. Anyway, all right.
Well, back to the football talk. I will remind ODB and Tony that prior to this show starting, ODB said we need to be done before 2 hours because I got to get somewhere. And Tony goes, "That's fine. We're gonna be done in an hour and a half." And I'm just sitting there quiet, and I hear Tony go, as long as JSU doesn't like fuck it up or something like that and mess everything up. I will just say that I did not start this. Poker one side and talk about the Thursday night. I didn't start this. So, when we go past the time, don't blame your boy.
Stop talking. Let's go to the game. Jesus, stop wasting 2 minutes
trying to blame us.
2 minutes? That was like 40 seconds. Bullshit. All right. Pulled up the game here. Hit the damn like button while I'm pulling this game up because we don't have that many likes and there's more of you watching than we have likes. So let's get the like button up. I mean, Tony, you got to start yelling at people to get a damn like? You got ODB on. That should be enough.
One thing I still haven't ever asked for is likes, but it'd be nice to get some likes.
I mean, it'd be nice to be appreciated once in a while, Tony.
Especially free, because ODB likes to do this show free, so I like to do it most of the time free. I did have some members last week, though. They're like, you guys can't do that show free. It's too good of a show. You guys break it down.
I get it.
If you're not going to click the like, though.
I get multiple texts a week saying that I need to do it free. They only watch for me. I think I need to be a run pure pro. I need to get a piece of all this action that you guys are getting here. Yeah. I hear you guys are raking it in with your shitty takes.
Maybe Big T. I'm not a boss, so I'm down here, ODB. So I get the scraps, but maybe Big T rakes it in. I don't know. All right, we got the first game on the slate here. We got Pittsburgh. We've got Cleveland. It's a 1-point spread. 33.5. Is that the lowest total we've seen all year? It's got to be the lowest total we've seen all year.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson 27 in college last week. I laughed my ass off as I bet.
This is like a preseason total. Like this is crazy here. 33.5. Deshaun Watson out for the year with an injury. We got that news this morning. Unfortunate news for Cleveland. ODB, let's start with you here. I would assume that pushes PJ Walker back into the starting lineup.
No, it's Dorian.
Oh, they're going. They're going Dorian.
Whew. And he's 4,500. He's $500 more. He's $500 cheaper than Tommy DeVito.
I'm not messing with either of these two quarterbacks. Can't do it.
Absolutely, you got to go Dorian. What a fucking spot. 4,500. There's so many stars on this schedule. You could get them all in there with Dorian. Let's go with a Dorian double stack. No,
he looked rough last time.
All right. So my take on this game was before the news came out on Watson, this was probably going to be my favorite game. I really like Cleveland. I've been on the Cleveland train all year long. At Pittsburgh, I mean, they continue with the magic, but I think that magic is mostly just at home. And it's against bad teams or bad defenses. This Cleveland defense is special, man. It's really, really good. I don't think they're going to come out with that same strategy that they had versus the Ravens when Dorian got a little overwhelmed. They came out throwing the ball. They got behind. It was just an awful, awful game plan from the get-go. I think they'll ease him back in. He said that game moved a little quick for him. He feels a lot better now. They must be seeing some things in practice that think that he's the better long-term fit than PJ Walker, because when PJ played, he played a lot better than Dorian did. So I got to think that the coaches have seen a little something in him. I don't believe in this Pittsburgh team. I'm never betting on Cleveland based on their offense. I'm betting on it based on their defense. Now I just basically have a pick 'em game, and I get the best defense at home versus a quarterback that I don't trust at all, with marginal weapons. Yeah, to me, I'm just going to take the best unit on the field in a pick 'em game, and the best unit on the field is the Cleveland defense, and I think it's by a wide margin. So yeah, I think Cleveland's going to be one of the games that I like the most. It's not sexy if you give up a punt return like I've been the victim of a couple of these games lately, where I have the bad offense and they gave up a punt return in the first 5 minutes of the game, and then all of a sudden I was buried. But yeah, that could happen, but it's Cleveland for me. And fantasy wise, I mean, there's a lot of stars on this, a lot of stars and smash spots. So like, I wouldn't mind going down to him at quarterback and just hope that he runs one in. But obviously that's pretty high risk because some of these quarterbacks are going to go off. They got pretty good spots. So,
all right, Bryce. Still waiting on that question, my man. So ask away if you have one. But Tony, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, pretty much a pick 'em. I mean, 1 point spread. I saw a question too in chat that I want you to answer as well, which is, would you upgrade Jerome Ford and or Kareem Hunt, like the running game for fantasy, with them going to Dorian? So I want your take on that, but also your take on who wins.
Yeah, I love Cleveland. I'm with ODB. I almost feel better having everyone knows I don't like Deshaun. So don't get me wrong. He's better than DTR. I'm not saying that. But I'd rather have the lower number. I think they were favored by 3.5, 4.5 before the injury, and now they're basically a pick 'em. I would much rather just have it how it is now, because I'm betting, like ODB said, I'm betting because of the defense. I'm not betting because of the offense. So I've been on Cleveland's D all year from week one, and this week is just a slam dunk. I mean, this is a season game for the D. The D all week is like, listen, our quarterback's out. We're 6-3. The Steelers are 6-3. The last time we played, they got a pick six, or maybe even 2 pick sixes against us. So freaking fluky. JSU should have won a shit ton that night. Just a fluky game. And I just can't. The Steelers suck. If they beat me, they beat me. You give me a bad offense against this defense, I'm taking it. I agree with ODB. I actually think DTR is the first I've looked at the slate, as everyone also knows. So I don't know what, but 4,500 for a guy that I know for a fact can run. I don't think he can throw, but I think he can run. And what I would do with him, and I never say this, I wouldn't play any pass catchers with him. I would just play him and then play all studs with him. Play up everywhere. I would not play a receiver with him, though, because he can't throw. I promise you he can't throw. So you're playing him for his rushing upside, and you're not playing him to get 25. You're playing him to get 17 and go crush every other position. So not saying you have to, not saying it's going to be my number one quarterback, nothing like that. But love Cleveland. I think he is in play at 4,500.
So I still can't play Cedric Tillman. I got to wait again.
Is he 3K? If he's 3K, you can play him.
He's 3K exactly.
And he could have caught a bomb last week. So
I think it was you who's telling me he's super talented.
Yeah, he was awesome in college. He was better than Hyatt in college, and you love Hyatt. He was better than him.
No, I think he's a better all-around receiver. I mean, he's 3K, so I would.
And if you really want all the studs, you play DTR with Tillman, you'll be able to play every single top guy on the whole slate.
Yeah.
Just one bomb, you're mint.
I first got to sell myself on actually playing DTR before I sell myself on Tillman. I got to
look at Lemons though. I mean, he played 66 snaps. I haven't looked this up. I'm assuming it's true. 66 snaps last week at 3K.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean,
I like it.
That's
ODB's point about this show. I wasn't planning on playing DTR and Tillman, and I still probably won't play a ton. But some teams, I don't mind that. You can play up for everybody. Yeah. Cleveland is going to rally. Mark my word, they're going to rally around losing Deshaun.
Didn't they lose Chubb in this first Pittsburgh game? Didn't they take Chubb out? Wasn't this the game
the game?
Huh?
I don't think it was the same game.
It wasn't the same game.
This isn't the game where Chubb blew his knee out, and then we had Ford on the
It could be. I don't remember. It could have been.
No, it was.
Wasn't I at your house for this game, Tony? Or no?
No.
I think you were going back because it was.
This was a double. This was a double Monday night game with Carolina and the Saints.
Because JSU was going to win. You're right.
We had a 2-game slate. Yeah. We had Jerome Ford, and then he ran off like a 70-yarder. And I think they took Chubb out for the season in this game. I think they blew his knee out in this game.
Right.
And they got 2 fluky touchdowns.
Because we had like 70% Ford and he was 2% owned. He just nuked.
Cedric Tillman played 84% of the snaps. That is 66 snaps. I mean
the problem is he's just not going to throw it a lot. So I mean,
you're going to have to get lucky. But he's 3K and he can catch a bomb. Like you're definitely going to have to get lucky.
Yeah, so there's a lot on this game for Cleveland. They hate Pittsburgh anyway. They took out their star, the heart of the franchise. They won on 2 stupid defensive touchdowns, which was fine. I mean, I had Pittsburgh in that game, so I mean, it was all good. But Cleveland, there's a lot of motivation for Cleveland in this game.
That injury was that injury was rough to see. All right, let's move. I agree though. Cleveland's the pick. We're on Cleveland. I like it. Let's go to Dallas and Carolina here. 10.5 point spread in Carolina. 42.5 is the total in this one. Tony, I'll come to you here first. We've seen Dallas beat up on teams that are inferior, really bad teams. We saw it again against the Giants. What do you think we see here with Dallas going to Carolina? Do we see a similar picture of Dallas just destroy inferior?
I mean, you guys already know. You make fun of me for how much I like Dallas. I just like Dallas so much. They've been so good the last few weeks. They finally stopped running the ball, and they just decided we're going to throw it all around the yard. And 2 weeks ago was versus Philly, or 3 weeks. 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago was versus Philly, where they threw it around the yard too a bunch. And if they keep throwing like this, I mean, I've taken a bunch of L's, but literally 3 weeks ago, I'm like, if you can get CD Lamb in your season long leagues, now's the time to trade for him because his value's low. And the dude has absolutely nuked since then. I just love Dallas, and Pollard keeps being overprojected. You just fade Pollard. And I'm going to have this flow. I've been working on this flow chart for 2 weeks, and I've tweeted out a few times, but the last like 4 or 5 days, I've been taking 5-6 hours a day, going game by game and grading each thing. And I'm going to have it done for this week where it shows the most matchups-based thing I could possibly do, because I went game by game all 10 weeks. So I'm really excited to push that out to the people because I think it's going to be a big edge. And the Dallas passing game is just good, man. And last week it was a blowout spot at the last second I got on it. It's almost like in college I talk about it. You're going to get easy points. The ceiling might be capped because of a blowout and he didn't get to play the end again, but you just get easy points. And where in the NFL do you get easy points? There's not that many. So, I mean, Dak and CD just have to be in play. Cooks finally exploded a week later. Gallup, I think, even caught a touchdown, if I remember right, caught a bomb. This offense, Mary Ferguson has crushed. I mean, I just love Dallas. So I'm going to be on Dallas. And it is like Thielen is still super expensive, but I think you can play Thielen even at 7,500. No one's going to play him. 7,500 for Thielen, literally no one. And the matchup feels somewhat good here where he could just get a ton of receptions in a trailing script.
Yeah, no one's playing Carolina, guys. So I'm with you. You can take a shot, I guess, at lower ownership. Gobbler in the chat says Carolina beats Dallas this week. Y'all welcome. then sell high on CD. He can't keep this up. Oh,
Oh,
man. I mean, he can't keep this up. Not many receivers could keep up what he's doing because he is absolutely destroying. He could even come down a peg and he'd still be good. Like, I don't know about sell high, but I mean, yeah, don't expect 40 fantasy points or whatever he's averaging through 3 weeks. Like, that's crazy talk. But yeah, is he Justin Jefferson, Tony? Is he going to give 30 a week? Like, no, probably not. But he gets
I think he's close to that top tier, though. Like, I think he's in. People won't agree with this, but I think he's right in that AJ Brown territory, like where he's very similar to AJ Brown.
Very similar, but very different receivers.
Yeah, I'm not saying same type. I'm just saying production-wise.
Yes, yeah. I agree with you 100%.
Like, they're not as good as Justin Jefferson or even Jamar Chase skill-wise, but they're right there in that next peg down.
AJ Brown is an absolute freak of nature. Like, his body, like, he's just an absolute freak of nature. But ODB, let's get to you on this game. Big spread. Are you just Dallas rolls, or you think Carolina keeps this thing competitive?
I mean, one thing that CD is doing is he's leading the Big T 50K best ball team to championship. That's what he's doing.
That's why we can't sell high, Gobbler. That's why we can't sell high right now.
We drafted quarterbacks in that, though, and our quarterbacks are just murdering us.
Yeah, but we got Fields coming back, so it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that CD has that the other guys don't have, that Chase doesn't have, and that AJ doesn't have, is he's just so clearly the best receiver on his team. And I'm not saying that Chase isn't clearly the best receiver, but Higgins is really good. Boyd's okay. But Higgins is just really good, and he just has to get stuff. And Devontae Smith's really good. I mean, the Dallas receivers are not good. I mean, like, I'm in season-long leagues where, like, none of the wide receiver 2 or 3 are even owned. So you don't have that situation in other spots. So CD's just going to get targets that way. I don't really love this game just because, I mean, one, I don't like Bryce Young at all, and I don't like this Carolina team at all, and I think they're just terrible. But on the flip side, I mean, Dallas just played 2 division rivals. One they lost to in a heartbreaker, and one they went out and beat the shit out of because they're at home and they hate the Giants. This seems a little bit like a sleepy spot. I mean, I like favorites more than your average guy who
Dallas.
Is given stuff.
Play Dallas.
I mean, maybe
this defense is gonna. Bryce Young versus this D is not gonna work out.
Yeah, that's probably just the play. I just don't have a strong take. I mean, I
never bet these spots either. Like road 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, it's just so much.
Man, it's a clear spot.
I mean, the clear spot was the New York Giants, and I said it on the last show. When you see 17.5, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but they can't score. Like, you just have to bet it. I mean, that's when you know it's bad. So
Giants are just, so embarrassing.
Very embarrassing. But all right, they said Chris in the chat says Frank Reich just announced he's reclaiming play calling duties.
He better play quarterback duties. Like, can he check back in for some QB?
Yeah, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are going to be compared until the end of time, and it's not looking good for old Bryce right now. Just be throwing that out there. And I'm sorry, but that's gotta put so much pressure on Bryce. Just even not that he pays attention to it too much, but just seeing that guy who was drafted after just crush. I think that's got to weigh on him a little bit. But let's go to the next game here: Chicago and Detroit. 9-point spread here in Detroit in a 47.5 total. We just saw Detroit have an absolute just banger of a game with the Chargers where there was points left and right, a ton of scoring. Detroit had success everywhere, and they missed on a few 4th down and 1s from the goal line where it could have even been more scoring for that team. So, I mean, the offense is rolling right now. I think the defense is solid. Obviously, they played a good Chargers offense, I guess. But can the Bears challenge this Detroit team in Detroit is the question. ODB, I'll throw this game to you. What do you got? ODB's on mute.
Oh, no, ODB.
Uh-oh.
The tech might
We
get
lost them. We lost them.
Oh,
Tony,
no. The tech is back.
Yeah, go. Well, while ODB figures out his audio, Tony, I'll come to you with this game. I'll go to myself real quick.
Just zapped out.
That's all right. I'm quick with it. I'll go to myself real quick, and I'll just say that Justin Fields should be coming back for this game that was announced, and I do think the Bears offense with Justin Fields coming back, I do think they can somehow keep this game. I want to say competitive. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if they get blown out by Detroit. Detroit coming off this massive game point wise, where everyone saw their offense, and they're going to roll the Bears and stuff. I don't know. I think the Bears are a little sneaky here. Not to say that they're going to win, but I think they could cover this 9-point spread. So I guess I would lean the Bears side. I'm not probably on the total, but I would probably lean the Bears with the points. What say you?
Yeah, I mean it's a good one. Justin Fields obviously gives them a new dimension, and the other dude, I was liking the other dude for a minute, and then he just totally regressed on me in one of the last 2 games where he looked awful again. So it just shows you that it's tough to be quarterback week to week in this league. I do like Fields. I'm super happy he's coming back, obviously, because I got him in both my high stakes things, so I need him in there. Just looking at the rest of the game, though, fantasy-wise, I mean, you have a bunch of options you can go to. So coming into the year, we had the Gibbs-Montgomery take where Montgomery's going to get a lot of the work. Then he was injured. I just believe I get caught in these situations at times where I fall for it. I just think this dude's too good, and I'm just going to go with the take that he's going to get all the high leverage work. So I flipped my take there after seeing the last 2 weeks. I'm still slightly cautious that Montgomery could steal like all the goal line work and stuff. He probably will. But man, Gibbs versus the Bears at a somewhat low ownership, I'm assuming at $7K. This dude is an absolute beast. So I'm going to like Gibbs, and I'm going to take a little bit of a stance on him that Montgomery, Chris in the chat, Montgomery revenge game. I am flipping my take, and I think it's going to be the right on all accounts, because early in the year we said Montgomery. I'm officially flipping it, so I'll be wrong if it goes back. I think it's Gibbs now, and that's not saying it's going to be 80-20. I'm saying it's going to be 65-35, 60-40 Gibbs's way, which is more than enough for a guy like this who can catch the ball, run the ball, all that stuff. So I'm on him. DJ Moore at 5,600 has to have upside against Detroit. Detroit is a tough matchup, but 5,600 is a good price for him, and we know he has upside. Amon-Ra is just an every week play. You need to have him every week. So I think there's plays in this game. There's a lot of ways you can go. Even Darnell Mooney has more upside with Fields in there. 3,300. Again, don't love it by any means, but he's just as good as any of the 3K guys with upside. So,
I'm gonna love it because I'm definitely. I feel like I'm a little higher on the receivers, but man, we're getting these Bears at low points with Justin Fields coming back. Even Cole Kmet, like price, he's back down to 4,100. Like I don't know. I feel like we're getting these guys. Darnell Mooney's 3,300, and we know he's got like at least a big play upside. DJ Moore, 56.
I wish they weren't facing Detroit this week. Like I wish they were facing like I don't know, Arizona or something.
They're going to have to push the ball because Detroit's going to score.
Yeah.
That's the good thing.
The only worry at all, though, is Detroit is just really good, that they might just smother us a little bit.
They are really good. They did also let up like 30-something points to the Chargers.
The Chargers are our team, though, that when they get cooking, they can score some points.
They can, but we've also seen them be, not that great offensively at times. So I get what you're saying, though. When they get cooking, they can definitely put up points. But it was just weird at how easy they were going back and forth with each other. And maybe they just got into the flow, like you said, and couldn't stop the flow.
Snowballed a little bit.
Yeah, snowballed, like you said. But also, too, Amon-Ra was amazing last week. I mean, how do you not play a little Amon-Ra? He's going up against his brother on the other side. I know that doesn't sound like much, but you gotta want to stick it to your brother on the other side, watching the game mainly from the sidelines while you're putting up monster fantasy point games. So Amon-Ra's always a great play, I guess. But I like this game. I think it's going to be a good fantasy game. But yeah, we'll move to the next game here. Unfortunately, ODB has still not figured out his technology situation, Tony.
He had to be reloading.
Hopefully he figures this out quickly, because I don't want to move too many games past.
He keeps popping in down there, and he keeps saying device not connected.
Oh, I can add him. I'm just waiting to see.
Oh, I see his face.
I'm back.
Yeah.
We were about to move games, but let's get your take on Detroit, Chicago before we move.
All right. So I mean, are you here?
Yeah, we're here.
So I love this Detroit team in general. I mean, we've been on them every week. What the hell? My computer's starting up and all this shit's coming up. But I think this is kind of a sleep. This is old man right here. I think it's kind
Tony doesn't help when Tony's laughing as you're talking right now.
I can just see the focus face in his eyes.
It's so annoying. I got my fucking Poker Stars app is opening. I use it once a year when I'm in Mexico, and it's trying to download bullshit. I don't know. This seems like a little sleepy spot. They got Thanksgiving game coming up next week. They've got they came off of a big win. Everybody really high on Detroit now. The Bears, I don't even know, what did the Bears do last week? Did they play last week?
They sucked.
Oh yeah, they played that Thursday night game against Carolina. Yeah. So they've had a long rest. Fields coming back. Yeah, I don't know. This feels like a little sleepy spot, but I mean, Detroit's really, really good, and I think maybe Detroit just finds a way. I don't think they're going to lose the game, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's a little closer. I'm not feeling that confident about laying the big number. Just one of those sleepy spots type games. Where did you guys land on this one?
Exactly what you just said was what we said. So we're all aligned.
All right.
Yep. All right. Let's go to the next game here on the slate. We've got Arizona and Houston. 5-point spread here. Houston Texans are favored at home. 47.5 is the total in this game. 2, we got Kyler Murray. We got CJ Stroud, like the old favorite thing and the new favorite thing at quarterback here. Kyler Murray versus CJ Stroud. So, ODB, let's get back to you here, and hopefully your audio stays true. But what do you got here with this game? What did you see from Kyler Murray, by the way? Did you see anything you liked first game back?
I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, Kyler's a good player. I mean, everybody wants to shit on him because he's not like elite and everything, but look, man, the standard's got to be lowered as what it takes to be a really good quarterback. I mean, every quarterback really sucks these days. I mean, there's a few quarterbacks who are playing well. I mean, obviously one of them's in this game with CJ, but Kyler's fine. Kyler can work that offense. I mean, yeah, they're not winning the Super Bowl or anything, but they're fine. I'm kind of surprised on this game. Honestly, I really thought that this game was gonna actually just move up and that Houston was going to be a real public team, but every single sharp I've heard on pods and stuff, they all love Arizona in this game. I don't really know, honestly. I'm not really sure. I've been really high in Houston the whole year. I like what I saw out of Arizona. I'm not sure if Houston's ready to take the mantle as laying, more than a field goal in football games, So I don't really know. This game kind of scares me both directions. I'm curious if either of y'all have a take on it, because I feel like everybody has a strong take on it and it's one way or the other, and I just don't have it. So I'm not going to sit here and spout something that I'm not real confident in at this point.
Yeah, Tony, at least for me, I think a lot of this comes down to, one, Houston's been playing really good with CJ Stroud. That just has to be said. And then you look at Kyler Murray, second game back. First game, he looked fine to me. He was definitely way more comfortable, though, and I was actually surprised they didn't do it more. And you saw it in the second half. There was one drive in the third quarter where the entire drive, they spread the entire field. They put the running back out. emptied it all out and just let Kyler make reads. And he looked really, really comfortable. That was the most comfortable he looked, was in that setting, kind of hurry up like he's done in the past. And they drove down the field, and then the penalties backed them back up, and they didn't end up scoring on the drive. But they moved the ball really well. But I don't know if that is going to be able to happen consistently. You know what I mean? I think they'll catch teams off guard when they pull that, but I don't think they can do that throughout the game. And I just think Houston's kind of on this roll where I'm probably just going to go with them. They played Atlanta. I think Houston's better than Atlanta for sure. And I don't know if Kyler's like at that level of what this Houston team's playing at. Second game back, I don't think you can ask him for that off the injury and everything like that. So I got to be on the Houston side here. I'm on the other side, I guess, of the Sharps. What side are you on here?
So it's a few interesting things from this game, and I'm not going to say everything from the flow chart because I want to give it to the members later in the week and stuff, but two key spots for Arizona check off against Houston. The running backs that can catch the ball, James Conner, incredible spot. And like the best spot in football secretly is tight ends against Houston. And Trey McBride just continues to be amazing. I talked about him early in the year as like a sleeper play. Kind of got made fun of on whatever show it was. I can't remember now. And now the dude just nukes. So you have two clear-cut guys. And Houston continues to play good fantasy games too, with just points and points and points. So Kyler, James Conner, Trey McBride stack. You play a quarterback without a receiver. Granted, it's a running back that can catch and a tight end that is really good, but that kind of gets you different. And the Houston side has a lot of guys you can play. Tank Dell's awesome. Dalton Schultz, awesome. Nico, if he plays, awesome. Noah Brown's been amazing at 4,800. Singletary even looked good last week. So I think we see a great fantasy game here. As far as the actual game, I always like these 5 to 6 point dogs just because I feel like they can win. So I'm more on the Arizona side, I think. Even though I love Houston, I love what they're doing. They're coming off a big win versus Cincy. I just like the matchups from Arizona. And this is why I'm trying to lean into matchups more, because everyone has the same data out there. And this is why I wanted to go game by game in my own way and grade it, because I wanted to trust my numbers and I wanted to trust the matchups for the last half of the season. And I trust my stuff now that I've gone game by game, and I really like the Arizona matchups. So Houston's a good team. We've been on them all year on this show. I kind of think this is an Arizona spot and an over spot where we see a great fantasy game here.
I do agree. Yeah. I do agree with you, fantasy. That was one thing I did leave out is it does seem like, I don't know if it feels like it might be highly played because it just seems pretty obvious. But and I looked at McBride before we went on the show as one of the things I looked at, and he's been priced up, so he's not the free space anymore. So that might hold down ownership a little bit because some people hate paying up for tight ends, but he's 4,400 now, and people just want to play that 3K tight end. They say it doesn't matter, but I mean McBride's kind of entered into that Hawk territory and Kittle territory where like they can score. So I do agree with you.
Yeah, Trey McBride was definitely the main bright spot in my opinion of the Arizona team with Kyler Murray. First game back for Kyler, and they looked like they were in sync, which I mean that's pretty encouraging. He missed Marquise Brown on a deep ball. There was some, hit or miss stuff, but him and Trey McBride looked like they had a connection right away. So I definitely think even with the price bump, you can play Trey McBride. And James Conner looked okay.
His first game back, though, 16 carries in a slow-paced game, somewhat slow-paced versus Atlanta. I think that's pretty good sign for things to come.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to lean on him when he's out there. It's just, James Conner, he's out there until he's gimping back to the damn locker room. But, yeah, he's going to get touches if he's in there for sure. So I like your take for scoring or points in this game. So maybe the over is the play. honestly. Maybe it's the over that's the safer play.
I like the over, more than the game. I'm not, because I like Houston too. I'm with you guys. I don't have a insane take. If I had to bet, it would be Arizona.
Because I played Kyler on my main team, and they took him out for Clayton Tune to get a sneak rushing touchdown.
They probably will do that again, honestly, too. That's one of the risks of him. They're going to bring him in short yardage because they're not going to have Kyler's little 4'8" self run it in. If
their plan is to run that play, I do think they pull him out. That was definitely planned already, that they're not going to risk him. That they did run him though in spots, they did.
No, he'll run. It's just that tush push where they'll bring in the Tune.
Yeah.
Don't play Singletary.
No, I'm not going to play Singletary. No,
Singletary stinks. The guy,
he finally had his first good game ever.
He had a good game, but I mean, now people are going to play him again. I mean, the dude's been in nut spots for 5 years.
Play him. He had 30 carries. He had 30 carries. People are definitely playing him.
People are going to play him. He's been in the nut spot for 5 different years, and he fails way more often than he succeeds. Just don't play a popular Singletary up. Bet up 1,000. There are all these guys who are not that far removed from him. I'm not playing Singletary. I know that for sure.
All right. I think that does it for this game. Let's move to the next game here on the slate. And I don't know why I can't find it. We'll go to the Giants and the Washington Commanders here. 9.5 point spread, 37 total in this game. This game's in Washington. I mean, what do we do with the Giants here, ODB? Do we just bet against them for the rest of the time?
I'm not laying 10 points with Washington. I don't care. I mean, whatever. I mean, the Giants are terrible, but whatever. Their defense against most teams, they weren't playing. I mean, they're playing Dallas last week. Washington defense is not going to do what Dallas defense did to them. So, they might be able to move the ball, limit some possessions. I'm not. The Giants' D has been okay a lot of times. So, I mean, I'm just playing the Giants.
God be there.
But I don't love. I mean, it's hard to like the Giants, but I just don't like. Washington laying that many points, and the offensive line in Washington still stinks, and Sam Howell still gives up sacks. He can turn the ball over. It's Giants or nothing for me. There's 0% chance I'm playing Washington. That's for sure.
Yeah. Breaking news. We got the most upsetting news of the slate. Jalen Hyatt concussion, will not practice today, or didn't practice today. That's tough. Even though his quarterback can't throw. So, I mean, there's no point in playing a receiver unless his name is Saquon. I guess he's a running back, but can catch the ball. I mean, Tony, what are you doing here? Are you on ODB's side that you just can't lay, the 10, or what are you saying here?
Yeah, I'm on that side for sure. I'm not laying 10 with Washington. I mean, the Giants at this point are going to be a team that, this is going to sound idiotic, but it's the betting side of me. I probably won't bet against the Giants the rest of the year because everyone knows they're terrible, terrible. So the lines are always going to be where they should be or overinflated. And Tommy DeVito shouts, dude. No, he doesn't. But one of the most obvious thing, or one of the most shocking things in the flow chart that I did was, in the quarterbacks, who's been the best? It's the guys you would expect. Josh Allen, fantasy-wise, Jalen Hurts. Minnesota was a little bit shocking just from Cousins being good and now Dobbs being good. And Dak's been top 3 the last 4 games, which is, you would think was that. But Washington, Howell has been top 10 quarterback 5 of the last 6 weeks, which was pretty shocking to me. I'll be honest. I didn't realize how it had been that good. Top 10 in 5 of 6 weeks. That's pretty good. And now he gets the Giants team that Dak just absolutely nuked. So betting wise, I totally agree with ODB. I don't need to go there. But as far as fantasy, I think you can play Howell at 6,300 with one of these receivers. Dotson didn't even get targeted last week, hardly at all. I don't know if he caught one late. 2 targets total, no catches. But guys like that, I think you could play that combo at 5,100. He's got upside against the Giants. Even McLaurin. I like Dotson more than McLaurin. Just McLaurin hasn't looked right to me this year. But I think you could go there. Logan Thomas is okay. Not my favorite game all the way around, though. Wandell is still 3,500. The dude can't throw, though. You can't play Giants guys when this dude can't throw.
I mean, imagine getting as many targets as De'Ami Brown, Tony. Imagine Jahan Dotson getting as many. I mean, the disrespect for Jahan Dotson. I mean, he must be really upset that a burner like De'Ami Brown gets more or as many targets as he does. It's a tough scene, I guess, even though De'Ami Brown fucks and he won that game for him. That was a beautiful catch and run. I mean, that catch and run was perfect. It was amazing. The Giants suck. Tommy DeVito is the worst quarterback we've had to watch play football in the NFL. That's done. Statement over. With all that said, Saquon Barkley staring me in the face at 7,100. And I want to be
got
like
frustrated last week.
I want to be but you played him in the worst because you played the passing game though. It was sharp. I got what you were doing. You were like, I just hope Saquon can catch a bunch of dump offs. Maybe he gets the one touchdown or two touchdowns they could possibly score. And then my receivers and quarterback crush. I understood what you were doing playing the other side. But, like, man, that price tag at 7,100. Like, how did they score other than, like, him being amazing, Tony?
I mean, they're not going to score, so.
There you go.
If you want a Galaxy Brain tournament play, Giants defense is way too expensive, and Sam Howell takes a lot of sacks. Nobody's going to play the Giants when you can play the Jets 400 cheaper and – some other these teams like the Seahawks $100 more, Miami like $200. Nobody's going to play the Giants. They could. Sometimes you see these tournament things. Sam Howell takes a lot of sacks, and the Giants can apply pressure. So
maybe that's how they score, Tony. Maybe that's how they score. The Giants defense. Maybe they get a touchdown or something.
No.
Me
and ODB have agreed on too much this show. I'm not getting on the Giants wagon with him.
I mean, yeah. All right, let's move on. This game sucks.
Yeah, Kevin. They didn't win the game. Whatever. De'Ami Brown. Well, he won the game for him. He should have won the game for him. Whatever.
They didn't even win it. You just said he won the game for him. I didn't even realize that part.
I was just thinking about the play and owning you. Listen, I'll tell you right now, I felt like I won the Washington game, the Washington-Seattle game on my own when I saw him score that touchdown. I felt like I won. I literally started screenshotting messages, sending it to Tony, the video, and Wiley. I just thought I won. That was the whole point. So Washington, Seattle, they didn't win. I won. All right, I won. End of story. We're on to the next game here. That's how I looked at it. Probably not that great, but all right, we got the Chargers, Green Bay here, 3-point spread in Green Bay, and a 44 total for this game here. Chargers coming off that great offensive performance. Green Bay coming off what I would say is probably one of the better Jordan Love games of the whole year, I guess, at least from throwing the football from what I saw against the Steelers team that I think people would say it's a tougher defense, and he was not good, not decent, but just below that, and I'd say that's one of his better performances of the year. So, ODB, what do you got here with this game? Is there Jordan Love improvement that we're seeing?
No, he stinks. This game, everybody that I'm hearing is loving the Packers. I don't see it. I think this is where the Chargers, this is where they start to turn it on. I mean, that's what they do. They bury themselves and then they figure out a way to get back into it just to get everybody back on their bandwagon and then crush souls again at the end of the year. I think Chargers might make a little run here. They looked pretty good against a team that I really think is a Super Bowl contender against the Lions. At the home field advantage, whatever, the Chargers play on the road every single game. on top of the fact that it's not going to be like a crazy crowd, like, a Green Bay normal game. I mean, I'm sure they'll be into it. They're in all their games, but I mean, I don't even think the crowd really likes this team. Nobody really likes this team. So, I think the Chargers are in a good spot. I actually like the Chargers here. I kind of almost like the Chargers better on the road because they don't have that built-in home field advantage point-wise that they don't get at home. So, I mean, if this game was in Charger land, it'd be like 6 or something. And, we know that the crowd would be 70% Green Bay anyway. So, unless the weather's going to be an issue. But, I mean, I don't know. I just trust everybody on the Chargers more than the Packers. It's not like, Brandon Staley can't fuck us here, but also it's not like LaFleur's been some genius coaching lately. So I know we all know Jordan Love's going to throw some moon balls. So it's just kind of where they fall. Most of the time they either fall incomplete or in the defender's hands. So I think the Chargers are a pretty good spot here. I was really surprised to hear some of the sharps that I listened to early in the week kind of bet this number down. So I'm just going to take the value at 3, and I think Chargers will be one of the games that I really like this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like this is a Chargers all day. I feel like it looks too easy. Packers have not been good. Tony, tell us why we are wrong if you would like to.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you guys. I hate the Packers. The Packers are going to be another team that I can't think of anyone in football I would take the Packers over. I just don't like them. I don't think they're good. I don't think Jordan Love's good. And some biases do build up. I'll admit it. I like the Chargers. I don't like the Packers. It's just an easy Chargers spot for me. As far as fantasy, I actually don't love this spot for fantasy-wise just because Keenan's $9K, Eckler's expensive. Guyton, I still like Guyton. We talked about him. He finally did it. I mean, 3,300. I like that price, but I don't love this game fantasy. But I do like the Chargers. ODB said it perfect. They always find their way to where week 18 they got to win to get in. If they lose, they're out. It's the way it is. It's the way football works. They're always going to that last week to get in. So they're not going to 4-6. They'll be 5-5 after this week. That's where I'm at in this game.
Yeah, I guess for me,
I actually would take the Giants being there. I'd take the Giants if they played. We'd get some points. We'd get 3-4 points. I'll take the 4 with the Giants. I hope they play. I would bet that.
There's a take. Do they play this year?
I hope so. Actually, I don't because it'll probably be like a Thursday night game or something. And we'll have to watch it.
Please no more of those games. I'll just say I think Austin Eckler is a decent play for fantasy. Green Bay just got ripped up by, and let me tell you right now, like Pittsburgh's O-line, I mean, those running backs were just running. When Najee's running through you, and Jaylen Warren's good, but when they're running through you, you got issues, and you can definitely beat this team on the ground. I think Austin Eckler is like a safe spend up if you want to go there. Keenan Allen, we did it last week. We got the big upside spot with Keenan Allen. Probably come off of him this week and go back to him again with the monster upside on a different.
Quentin Johnson's back. He's in play now. I mean, they threw him the ball. He caught the ball a few times. He's still not good, but like at least he's more involved. And I think Guyton's more of a play like when it's going to be a shootout because like they have to throw it more. But I mean, I don't know what Quentin Johnson costs, but I mean, if you're just desperate for somewhere to save, the guy
he's in that range where you really can't go there. I don't know, 4,200. It's tough to go there.
That's too much. I was thinking he might be still like down in the high 3s.
If he was like if he was 35 or something, I think 42 is tough for him.
I agree with you. It's going to be Green Bay plays slow games. They don't play real shootouts for the most part.
Yeah.
They can't play a shoot. They can't play in many shootouts.
I hate the Packers. Get us to a new game. I hate the Packers.
All right, well, let's get to the Titans and the Jaguars here. 7-point spread. Jacksonville is favored at home. 40 is the total in this game here. We just saw Tennessee play a disgusting game. I don't know if you watched the whole game. I unfortunately did. And the Buccaneers, not a great team either, and they looked way better than the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. So it was a tough game to watch for me. I did play some Will Levis, unfortunately. And, that was a tough scene. Tony, I'll throw it to you first. That was a tough scene playing some Will Levis. So I don't know if you did, but
I had Levis for sure, a decent amount. I think 20% Levis last week. I like the spot. The spot was good. Levis was not good. And I thought he looked good his first couple games. Just a bad spot. And I won't be coming back with him anytime soon. I will say that. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be some cupcake matchup next week that'll put me to the test, but it's not going to be here. I mean, Jacksonville just got their ass whooped by San Fran. Now we get back on Jacksonville. I know they're favored by 7 or whatever. Tennessee's done. I mean, you can put a fork in them this year. Jacksonville's just better. Jacksonville wins this game easy. ETN, I think, even though Tennessee's really good against the run, ETN profile is pretty good in this spot just because he can get outside, he can catch the ball, he can run routes. He's not just a run up the middle type running back, which is death against Tennessee. So I actually like ETN a little bit here at 7,200 in this spot. Christian Kirk's always a good play. But more than anything, I'm on Jacksonville here. I think they dust Tennessee pretty easy.
Yeah, the receiving game, right, Tony? We saw it with the Bucs yesterday. I mean, Mike Evans was just owning them, dragged those dudes into the end zone after
that was so sweet because going on the Sunday shows like I'm playing fucking Godwin over Evans, and I just shredded him. I'm like, you cannot play Godwin over
you
Evans.
You still wear condoms and you play Chris Godwin. Yeah. How does that feel? I mean, come on.
If you're a tournament player and you play Godwin over Evans, you need to turn in your tournament card.
I mean, you can play them both if you really love a spot.
No,
but
you can't play Godwin, and if you have a penis, you're not allowed to play Godwin.
Well, I've never played Godwin in my life, pretty much. So I'm just
Godwin
saying,
is the biggest common play ever.
Mike Evans. You have to click his name before anyone else, is my point.
And Mike Evans is a guy you have to play every single week, always. He has 4 or 5 explosions every week. He's always in play.
I mean, I already said this perfectly. Mangone wears condoms. He plays Chris Godwin. Mike Evans obviously doesn't. He's a fucking man. He gets the job done on the field. Definitely off the field too, I'm sure. So
he scored 40 or something, and he had the worst drop I've seen ever in the end zone.
Did he get 40? Did he?
It was way up there, whatever it was. It was in the third. I don't know what it was. It was way up there though.
I figured it was like 30. It would drop.
Yeah, I don't know. It might not have been 40. Whatever it was, he crushed.
It was a monster game. He had 29. Which I mean, he should have had 35, 36, whatever it was, because he dropped the touchdown. But either way. It's all good. Mike Evans.
Alvin, Godwin's never gone off in his life. I'm not even worried about it. I'll say it again. Godwin's never going off. And if you have a penis, you don't play him. I love when people do this anyways. All these shows, JSU does them all with me now. They always say this. I talk shit so much about people, and they always say, well, they're going to go off now. No, they don't. Like, I take strong stances, and it's been right.
If that was the case, I talk shit about all my players that I'm going to play, and then watch them go off.
Last week, okay, yeah, who was my hardest stance on the Sunday show? I made fun of him and Wiley so hard about Evan Ingram. I was like, he's the worst play on the slate, so hard, and everyone in chat, now he's going to go off. Well, he didn't, and then chat just forgets about it when I have hard stances that go right.
4 catches for 12 yards. You own that.
4 for 12. That was a success, Alvin.
You won. I said I'm spending up for receiver. I'm not spending up for running back, i.e. Christian McCaffrey. And spend up receiver was the winner. Keenan Allen was the winner. Spend up running back.
Keenan Allen. Those spend up receivers was the nut.
The absolute friggin' nut. But that's all right. New week. We're talking about the Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars here. And do we play Trevor Lawrence or do we just fade?
I gotta tap out on Trevor. Yeah. The 50K was enough for me. I gotta tap out on old Trevor.
We already got enough in play with Trevor Lawrence, I guess.
I don't think he's it. I'll be honest. I just don't think he's very good. I don't know.
Yeah. ODB, no go. Trevor Lawrence.
I think this is a great bounce back spot for Trevor and the receivers. I like it. We always try to fade Tennessee passing defense, and yeah, I mean you people have just like Big T right here. I mean, he's like Trevor a lot. He drafted him in the 50K. He has every reason to, and he has Trevor fatigue.
Nobody's but dude, he hasn't cracked 20 all year.
I understand, and everybody knows that, and everybody's got Trevor fatigue, and I think ETN's just a little banged up anyway from that game. I don't know. This just feels like, I think, he knows this Tennessee defense. I think they needed to beat him twice last year to get in the playoffs the last few weeks, and he showed up and he did. I think, I mean, if Trev's ever going to get right and have a big game, this is it. I would definitely not leave him out of your player pool. If you're doing the one lineup thing, then you don't want to play him, fine. But I think this is a pretty good spot. I'm always looking to fade the running backs against Tennessee, and I'm always trying to get something in the passing game against Tennessee. This is it. As far as Tennessee offensively, I mean, they're just not that good. I mean, people latched on because, I mean, I liked Will Levis coming into the draft. I thought he was underrated. I thought he had a chance to be the second or third best quarterback after Stroud. And so I kind of liked him, but people are leaning into the fact that he threw a few moon balls that Nuke happened to catch and take for touchdowns. He hasn't looked good in weeks. The offensive line's not good. I picked up Jacksonville's defense in both my season longs last week in preparation for this week because I knew they were going to be a great play. And yeah, I think that Jacksonville's in a pretty good spot right here. And I like the passing game and Jacksonville's D.
That's another good call out too, is their offensive line. Like you said, their offensive line looked really rough pass protecting. So that's another good call. All right, let's go to the next game here. We got the Vegas Raiders and the Miami Dolphins. 13.5 point spread here in Miami. 46.5 is the total in this one here. 13.5 point spread. Miami hopefully should be getting back Devon Achane, who practiced today. They said he looked good. So we'll see on that here. He's 6,600 on the slate. I don't know if he officially is like definitely going to play, but he did practice. He's going to play. Okay, so he should play.
Unless he gets a setback or something, he's playing.
Yeah.
50K team this week. We got Fields back. We got Lawrence in a nut spot. We got CD in a nut spot.
We're back, maybe.
Back. Fuck. The only problem is Taysom's on a bye, but besides that,
we got to give him a week off. He carried through all that. Yeah, tough stretch.
Listen, his shoulders are a little high.
It's roll time for the Big T 50K team. This is good a week.
We hung on too through a tough stretch. We fell to third, but we're right there, right below first and second. We're in good shape.
The fact that it's in third is just, I mean, that's still impressive.
The last 2 weeks, we've got a combined 5 points from quarterback.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, come on.
We got two now. There might not be many teams that even have two quarterbacks left the way this season.
Definitely.
All right, ODB, give your take here on the Raiders and the Dolphins.
The Raiders are absolute trash. They're our bottom 5 team. Get the hell out of here with this Antonio Pierce shit. I mean, come on. You beat the Jets and the Giants, and the Jets, you had to have 14 different penalties called against the Jets after positive plays. I mean, everything broke your way there, and you could barely score against the Raiders. Stink. They're going to get curb stomped by this Dolphins team, who's have 2 weeks to think about it. Feel free to just fire. If I'm spend up, you're looking for a spend up, it's Tyreek. You want to just play the other guy, you want to play Waddle, fine, whatever. But I mean, this is a curb stomp game. This team's not good. Every interview, Pierce is, we got to get back to running. Jacobs is the heart and soul of this team. When your running back's the heart and soul of your team and your running back can't get any yards and fumbles the ball twice, that is not good. The Raiders are not good at football, and they're not going to keep up with this Dolphins team. Lay the number. This is Giants, Cowboys repeated. The Dolphins are good at home. The Dolphins had 2 weeks off. the Raiders are partying in Vegas like they just won the Super Bowl because they beat 2 inept offenses. Get the hell out of here with this Raiders team.
All right, so you hate the Raiders.
The Raiders are terrible.
Easy. Tony, are you with ODB on Raiders hate?
So, yeah, I gave a stone cold lock last week. I'll come right back with one more stone cold lock this week. Miami is going to trounce this team. I couldn't agree more with ODB. So they want to be a running team. I'll just throw some numbers. This is a new Big T throwing numbers on the show, but I did work hard on that. They want to be a running team. They've had one top 10 performance all year at quarterback, running back, and I'm not done with receiver for the Raiders yet, but Raiders. They've had 2 top 10 performances at any position that I've seen. Just absolutely embarrassing. In Miami, coming off a little tough stretch and the bye, and they get their explosive ad chain back. Literally a perfect spot. Like the dude in chat, Chris says, I think you bet it right now too, because it's definitely going up. It won't go up much, but even just to 14 and a half is a big difference from right now. 13 and a half. They're going to pound the shit out of this team, and it's just easy money. And I'll take it even further for fantasy. I remember talking to JSU early in the year about this. When things get tough, play 3 Miami guys. Tua, Tyreek, Achane, or Waddle, or Mostert. I want Tua and Tyreek for sure, though, because the floor's huge, the ceiling's huge. Everything it's going to be easy points for you. Even if they run in a bunch of guys, Tua's still going to get like 18 if they just run in a bunch. If they don't run in a bunch, he's going to get you 30. And it's just a clear-cut spot. And Devontae Adams is a fade the rest of the year unless he gets down to like 6K. You can't do it with Aiden O'Connell. You can't play Jacobs because he can't run. So this is a classic game too, which I've become more comfortable with this year. You don't have to run it back in certain spots. I'm not running it back with Raiders, guys. If I did anybody, it would be the tight end, Mayer, because he's 2,700, but that's it if it was anybody. And, I mean, they're going to pound them. They're going to pound this team. Load Achane back up for his 8 carries, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And let's get to the winner's circle.
Yeah, sorry, I was just responding to a member. So I'm with you guys 100%. Miami all day. Already bet it. Probably going to load more in either tomorrow or so. I already bet this thing, though. This game is an easy winner, or feels like an easy winner here. And, Tony, I agree with you about loading up one side and fading the other. That's exactly what this game is, because it's going to be – I don't know if I'm going to play Tua, but I wouldn't take Tua out of the pool because, like you said, it could be just –
not you. I didn't mean to say you, but people keep losing at quarterback, me included, last week with Levis. You're not going to lose it with Tua is the key. He's going to keep 100%. It moving for you.
100%. But if you wanted to play Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane and not play Tua, I would understand it. But you could play Tua with those 2 guys. Like you
I'm
still
not saying
could
you
do
have
it,
to. I'm just saying that he's a good play.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. You're not going to lose it. You're right. That's exactly.
And you could win it with him too. I like guys that you're not going to lose it with, and you can win it with. That's a pretty good combo.
Is that something you might be interested in?
That's something I might be interested in. I mean, there's no way this team's not scoring in the 30s in this game.
I agree. I agree. So, all right, let's go to the 4:00 games here. We got Tampa Bay. We got San Francisco here. 12-point spread here in San Francisco. 41 is the total. Now, we've seen San Francisco. They've gotten thrown on. We've seen it before. Obviously, they had the great performance last week. But before that, they've gotten thrown on good. Christian Kirk had a good game. But Tampa Bay, 12-point spread here. I mean, can they have success throwing the football? Because that's the way you got to go to beat San Francisco. Or do you guys think it's just all San Francisco? They're getting on a roll, and they're not going to stop. Tony, I'll go with you first because you're the biggest San Francisco lover on the show.
I can't see myself going against San Francisco the rest of the year. I mean, they got young. They're going to get rolling. Debo's back. People were killing them for some of these losses, which the one loss was pretty bad versus Cleveland in bad weather. And stuff happens during the year. It's a long year. They got Debo back. They got some guys on D. They got the trade. They're going to get healthy. Tampa Bay's never beaten this team. It's not like conviction like last week because last week was the nut spot, but I like San Fran again. The only person from Tampa I like again is Mike Evans. Mike Evans does profile pretty good against a team like San Fran. That's what's been beating them, kind of deep corner routes, deep like patterns like that you can get out and beat that pressure. So I like Mike Evans, but McCaffrey again, Ayuk always, Debo you can put in, Kittle always. San Fran for me, yes. I'm the rest of the year I'm on San Fran. San Fran versus Dallas to go to the Super Bowl. Screw you, Philly.
Tony, so San Francisco, Chris says San Francisco has too many weapons. San Francisco defense will destroy Tampa opportunities. Tampa has no pass D. What do you say to they have too many weapons and it's tough to choose for fantasy?
It is tough to choose because you don't know, but one or two of them are going to crush. So,
what if you're building 3 teams? Like most people watching this probably
take a stand. We play tournaments. Pick and hope you're right.
Pick and hope you're right. Yeah. I guess that's right. Or you could fade it and just hope you don't get the annihilation of one guy. So
I think they are kind of playing like even McCaffrey. Look at his numbers. For the most part, he's like getting 22, 21, 23. Rock solid, but there hasn't been any or that many like explosions. He had the one game, I think, where he exploded. But Kittle's had a few explosions, but I don't love them for fantasy. I just think they kind of handle their business and get in there. And McCaffrey, I like Tyreek more than McCaffrey this week. Tyreek's a lock for me, I think, as far as just he's going to crush. So
Tyreek is, against these bad. I've said it all year since week 1. I've said it against bad teams. Tyreek Hill, you want to play, because they just destroy. This Miami team destroys bad teams, and Tyreek Hill specific, he's destroyed a lot of teams, but man, bad teams he beats up on them. He's the main guy. So
it's Purdy 5,800 too. That's cheap.
He's been cheap recently. He's been, kind of.
I can play Purdy at 58.
ODB, you think the same thing? San Francisco rolls?
Yeah, I think San Francisco's their tough stretches behind them. They're a very good team, a lot of weapons. I'm not in love with laying all these points all this whole week. There's just a lot of spots to lay points. You got to pick some dog to get in there. This isn't going to be the one. I'm definitely not playing the Bucs. But yeah, I don't even know who to play for fantasy. All the dudes are expensive, but they all can go off. So it's just kind of like pick your poison or just, I don't know, I'll probably just fade them all like I normally do. I loved Debo last week. I played Debo. That was kind of like a low-owned guy that I kind of had a little conviction with. He was fine, but nothing amazing. But yeah, do what you want with it. I like San Francisco for this game. I was actually, if I was looking away, I was going to a couple different spots. You guys can probably find it better there, but I think they usually have Super Bowl, AFC, NFC out. I just bet I think the NFC, it's probably got to be close to a pick. I'd jump on the NFC right now.
I like the NFC too, and I did not think that going into the year.
I like all 4 of these NFC teams
that
are up at the top. I think all 4 of them can beat the best AFC teams are Baltimore and Kansas City, and we don't even like those teams. The Bengals aren't even guaranteed to make the playoffs at this point. They're the only team that we really even trust in there if they make it. Dolphins, they're not winning the Super Bowl. The Bills, they're dead. Like the Browns, they're not doing anything. The Steelers suck.
And all 4 of those NFC teams are like our favorites. That's a great show bet for it. I love the NFC.
I don't know what the line is, but it's probably close to pick them because
Kansas City gives us the odds we need, and we don't like Kansas City.
And everybody loves Kansas City still, so you can bet the NFC. And if Kansas City gets upset, now you got a great price. If they don't. We're all going to be fine fading the NFC. So, taking the NFC and fading the Chiefs. So,
it's going to be one of those 4 teams too. So we're good. Like the only thing I would worry is if it wasn't them, but it's going to be.
There's just no way. Those 4 teams are too good for anybody to sneak through them. Somebody can sneak through the AFC though, because one team knocks off Baltimore, one team knocks off Kansas City. Seattle or Atlanta or
the Bengals. The Bengals could easily knock off those 2 teams.
Yeah,
that would be the worst case scenario for us 3 is the Bengals getting there. But
I mean, Bengals might lose this week and not even be a favorite to get the playoffs.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was just a little aside if you like that type of thing. But anyway, yeah, it's Niners. Niners or nothing. I'm playing Niners and Survivor, so hopefully they win.
All right, let's go to the next game, Jets and Bills here. Now, we had this game earlier in the season. I'm pretty sure this was week 1, actually. Wasn't this the week Aaron Rodgers got hurt? Yeah, so this was the Rodgers game. The Jets won that game, I'm pretty sure, too, still. So you get the rematch here. Buffalo, tough times for Buffalo here. And ODB brought it up. They're dead, I mean, from winning a Super Bowl, that for sure. But they need to win games. They need to, try and at least make it into the playoffs and get there. What are we doing with the Bills here? 7-point spread, 39 total against the Jets.
The Jets defense is too good for me to lay 7 here. I like this. I mean, the Bills team, they still look good in a lot of metrics, even though they don't look good on the field. And they, so many of their losses are due to turnovers. So it's hard to really handicap that. But the Jets defense is good. I don't think Zach Wilson's as bad as everybody else does. He does make some head scratching plays, but so does Josh Allen. I'm not comparing those two, by the way. I mean, Josh Allen is elite and one of the best quarterbacks in the league that just is a bonehead, and Zach Wilson's a struggling guy who may be out of the league. But I don't know. I see some things every once in a while out of him that give me pause. I think this line is like a little too inflated for who the Bills are right now. I mean, they laid the same thing against Denver. I like the Jets better than Denver. Granted, Denver shoved it up my ass the last 2 weeks. This was the similar line that the Bucs were getting. I like the Jets better than I do the Bucs. So I don't know. I think this feels like too many points for me. So I'm probably leaning Jets, but obviously it's very scary. I mean, the Bills have one explosive play and you're just right behind the 8 ball immediately.
Yeah, I would say I'm leaning towards the Jet side too with the points. I just think the Jets have a ton of talent. You take Zach Wilson away, they still have a ton of talent on both the offensive and defensive side. The more I watch Garrett Wilson too, the more I just think he's ridiculously talented, and the poor throws that he has to adjust to make catches are absolutely insane. Like there was one where he caught it over the middle and he had to jump like literally as high as my desk off the ground and like spun while he did it, still caught it and somehow landed. And I'm just sitting there like, like most people shouldn't catch that. And over the middle, by the way, because Zach Wilson cannot put a ball in the right spot to save his life. Even if the guy's crossing right in front of his face, he just can't do it. But Garrett Wilson makes some of the most insane catches that no one will ever talk about. But I think the Jets are definitely the side I'm going to lean here. Buffalo, I said it with the Denver side, 7.5 was just too many points for that Denver team. Say it here with the Jets, same thing. Buffalo struggling. I'm going the Jets side. Tony, what about you?
Yeah, I keep trying to give Buffalo a chance. I mean, they just aren't very good, I don't think. Their window's closed quick. They were really good last year, one of the title contenders 2 years ago. I think the window's closed. I mean, we've watched them just be bad. And Josh Allen just continues to – I mean, he's great fantasy. I'm talking two separate things here. He's awesome. He had the worst game ever on Monday, and he still scored 18 or something. He was terrible. But, man, as far as just football, he just makes just idiotic plays, and it doesn't stop. And you can't do that as a quarterback for long stretches. I'm with you guys on the Jets. I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not, crazy excited about it just because this is a make-or-break spot for the Bills. And like you guys said, they could do one play and really get up against it. So not a conviction game, but I am definitely on the Jets with you guys. Won't play Josh Allen, won't play Diggs. I mean, it's a tough matchup for them versus this Jets team. Garrett Wilson, though, this Bills secondary, all the Hamlin jokes aside, their secondary is terrible. Garrett Wilson's in a good spot here. So I'm in there with that play. I like the Jets, though. I'm with you guys.
Brees could be in play, too. Brees is good.
Yeah.
And
I like Brees. I like that call.
I got a question for you, Tony. What's the flow chart going to say for the grade when you pull up the Denver defense for rushing and you see Lat Murray average 7.6 yards a carry and James Cook average 9.1 yards a carry? Does that give them like 6 pegs up from everyone else when that happens? When Lat Murray averages 7.1 yards a carry? Are we just going to bludgeon Denver?
I think they had a great game plan. They're like, go ahead and run it on us all you want. And I think it was more planned than anything. But yeah. Your point is valid for sure.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how you're going to grade that when you put, because your new flow chart, it's going to be.
I would give it,
grade.
That would be a spot where I would give it a boost because of the people. But that's why I want to go game by game, because I can manually remember that game.
That's my point, though. Is like that's a specific scenario where like you could remember that point and it could, make a difference, I guess. But all right, 2 more games here to get through here. Let's do it. Or actually, last game on the slate here: Seattle and the LA Rams. 1-point spread in LA. 46 is the total in this game here. And the Rams, I don't think this is the week they get Kyron Williams back. I think he's still on IR for 1 more week. Yeah. But they should potentially get Matthew Stafford back. So that should be a bump for them. Seattle, Tony, they were in the nut spot last week. Do we go back to them again this week? How are you looking at this Seattle team?
So Seattle, this is these are the things ODB's good at too. Like if you can get, I don't even have the odds up in front of me, but Seattle and some of their futures, their schedule the next 4 weeks, they play the Niners, the Cowboys, the Niners, and the Eagles. The next 4 weeks.
Did you see ODB? He just stood there and went like this, Tony.
If you got any, we don't talk season long a ton. If you have any Seattle guys, now's the time to see what you can get for them, because you're in for some tough sledding the next month in Seattle. And I mean, they had to win games that they've played. The freaking Niners twice, the Cowboys and the Eagles. That's the teams we just talked about going to the Super Bowl 4 straight weeks. So tough sledding there. Again, I don't know. I was a little disappointed with Seattle last week. Their numbers were good. They won, but they did not impress me. And I talked Seattle up early in the year too as a team that was impressing me. Last week didn't do it for me though. The Rams are not a team I'm going to be. I think Stafford's back at least, but they're not a team I'm excited about. This is a game, just honestly, I'm going to stay clear of for the most part all the way around.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm probably going to stay clear of this game too. ODB, what about you?
Trevor, it's not horns. It's my halo. That's the halo. Cool. Anyway, Sean McVay owns Pete Carroll. I mean, that he beats him every year. And week 1, Seattle coming in, all the hype, the Rams going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, completely, absolutely crushed Geno. This division's just kind of weird like that. Like the dudes all own each other, like in different ways. Shanahan owns McVay. McVay owns Carroll. Carroll owned Cliff, I think. I don't know. They all kind of have their own little circle. So it's Rams or nothing for me. Seattle just continually disappoints me. I think I've won 1 Seattle game all year. I had them last week in the nut spot of all spots, and they just couldn't get it done. They couldn't get they got a little pressure on Howell, but not enough. The defense didn't show up, and the Seattle team just continues to disappoint me. I'm dropping Geno this week tonight on season long, but that was always the plan. Their matchups, like you say, is completely that they're going to get smashed the next few games. If you can find them to not make the playoffs, probably a good bet to get, because it's probably around like 50. You might have to lay like small juice. If Seattle doesn't win this game, they're just dead. But I don't know. I like the Rams better than the Seahawks in this matchup. And I think the Rams guys will probably be underplayed. So I mean, Stafford's a whole different animal. Like that dude just competes. So if you wanted to play, go back to Puka or a Cup, like they'll probably be underplayed. I think their price tag's probably back in line. I don't know. I haven't looked at it because I haven't considered it. I probably won't play any of them. There's a lot of really good spots this week, but yeah, it's Rams for me.
All right, there we go. Rams. Those are all of the games on the main slate here.
ODB, Seattle to not make the playoffs. What do you think the odds are?
Scott,
I would guess. I don't know, -120.
What do you think, JSU?
They might be plus actually.
Now you're on mute or something. I can't hear you.
I think it's plus money. Like,
well, what do you think?
Plus 250.
No.
Plus 300.
To not make the playoffs?
Yeah, with those 4 games coming.
Plus 300 to not make the playoffs?
With those 4 games coming. 3-1 odds.
What the hell?
I mean, only because they're 6-3 and they're favored, or they're like correct. In a position they could win this week. But even if they win this week and go to 7-3, which we kind of like the Rams a little, they still got to face those 4 teams. That pushes them back to 7-7 in a hurry.
Yeah. So who's making the playoffs if they don't make it? Minnesota gets one wild card. Dallas gets the other.
Blocks, though. You got the Eagles and Cowboys there. You got the Niners, obviously. You got the Lions. That's the 4 teams we love. You got the division winner in the South, which is 5. So it does. I can see why that's the odds, though, because so after those teams, you got the Commanders who suck. They're 4-6. The Rams. It is tough when you actually look at it. Yeah, there's not that many teams.
There are so many bad teams.
They hold the tiebreaker over the Commanders now because they beat them.
I honestly think it comes down to this game this week if they get in, because the Rams are 3-6 and the Seahawks are 6-3. So,
yeah,
I still like plus 300. Whatever. They got 4 straight tough games. Someone will find their way. I'm betting it plus 300. I can't say no to that.
You got Minnesota.
Minnesota is 6-4, so definitely
there's 2 more.
There's not one other team though. Is the problem?
I mean, they might get in at 8-9.
You're gonna have to hope like Tampa Bay or someone gets on a.
It is really bad. So we talked about the positives of the NFC. Those 4. After those 4, it's really bad.
The negatives are really bad.
Yeah.
I was like super confident when I told you guys plus 300, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, where's those teams gonna come from? They might lose 6 straight games and get in the playoffs.
They might. 7-10 might get the job done. I mean. Atlanta and Tampa, and New Orleans, one of them has to win the division.
Yeah. And the other one's going to be under 500. Yeah.
God, those teams are so bad. These teams are so bad.
Jesus.
It's still worth a bullet at plus 300, though.
What's Minnesota then? Minnesota's got to be a favorite, too. Then,
Minnesota's got to be a big favorite. Where are they at? Yeah, they're only minus 200 to me. That's a good bet the other way. They're minus 200 to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're going to make it. They're 6-4. Who's their schedule?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as Seattle's, that's for sure. They have a better quarterback.
I got to see who they play. That might be like a really good bet.
I do know they played Detroit 2 of the last 3 games.
Who are you looking at? Minnesota?
They play they play the Raiders, the Bears, the Broncos.
Loss.
And the Packers.
Yeah. So all they got, if they win 2 of those, that's
such a nice schedule. They're going to win a lot of those games.
That's 2 bets. I'm giving those 2 bets on here. The Vikings to make it minus 200 and the Seahawks to miss it plus 300.
Yeah, I like it. All right.
Man, I just don't know where that other game is.
Being there, what are the Giants to make the playoffs?
All right. Well, on that note of the Giants making the playoffs, and I know the show, hit the like button on your way out. NBA Hardwood show is coming up next on this YouTube channel, so stay tuned for the NBA winners. Me and Big T, or me and K Fallick, will be back for the Up the Lock show at 6 o'clock for the members. So get all your NBA winners. We'll see you guys tomorrow, Thursday, 11 a.m. for the SaberSim show, AP and Rubio, and then me, Big T, and Wiley, 4:45 Eastern time for the Print Factory. Until then, for ODB, for Big T, I'm JSU. We'll see you guys next time.